Okay, so this is my reporting on day 4 of my 10-day juice fast, May 2020. It's a relatively early morning here in Iowa, and I didn't do my check-in last night as I had hoped to do to review the day. I did juice, did one big mass of juicing, a huge tomato juice, spicy. I spice it up with all kinds of condiments, which gets me through. Did a big green juice and a big pineapple watermelon juice. And I pretty much nursed that tomato juice for most of the day. And I had a little of the fruit and green, but mostly it was the tomato, which, because it was such a large jar, it got me through. I also had a hot chocolate, and I had a lot of sugar-free breath mints, which seems to be the downfall at this point in time, but not so bad. And I weighed in this morning at 128.8, I think it was. But the main thing is that I feel very good in my body. I'm really getting much more towards my ideal weight, towards the weight that my body wants to be. And it occurred to me this morning that our culture's obsession with food, and especially rich food, calorie dense food, large portions, it tends to create an unbalanced relationship between what the body requires, the optimum amount of fuel, and what we're giving it. And that's mostly because of mental cues we're getting from the environment. We all have spent lots of time watching television. I can remember when I was younger watching the first cake commercials. And there was a lot of discussion about how these really enticing, moist, cake never had it so good in terms of the way it was presented, that this was getting people to stand up in their, in their living rooms and go out to the kitchen and get a piece of cake when otherwise they wouldn't have done that. Especially, the special brands that they were, the automatic cake mixes, which didn't exist before that. Cakes used to be from scratch. If you had to bake a cake, you didn't just rip open a plastic bag, you had to actually get all the ingredients and bake it yourself. But all the prepared TV dinners were a new thing. And quick, McDonald's type things were very rare. I remember the first fast food place in the area, and to go there was like a special treat. The idea of eating every meal from a fast food place was out of the question, and the consciousness was that it wasn't healthy. Like, it was obvious at that point, compared to home cooked meals, which were still an ongoing process, that this fast food, food in a bag, drive-through menu meals was not a healthy alternative, and it's really not. And also all the advertising in the magazines glorifying food. I'm a victim of it, and the other thing that I remembered was that Joe Cross said that the 2 feet between our hands and our mouth are the last 2 feet of freedom that we all experience. That's really kind of a pathetic observation, but I think it's really true. And we have been blessed with so much abundance in Western culture that it's one place where you can just drive in and get a pizza, and you can just drive through and get this, or just pop something in the oven it's already prepared for you, and then you have something really tasty, or Chinese takeout, or there's so much that we can do. Quick sweet rolls in the morning, donuts, Donuts galore. What is that? Dunkin' Donuts. You know, when I was growing up, there was no Dunkin' Donuts. There were donut shops, you know, that had maybe a cup of coffee at a counter, but it was pretty rare, really. You went to the bakery to get, you know, maybe cinnamon rolls for a Sunday or something for a special occasion, a special cake for a special occasion. But this idea of a Dunkin' Donuts where you just go in and there's racks and racks of donuts with a really mighty tasty cup of coffee, you know. Regular food pales by comparison in terms of the hit that you get, you know, that almost drug-like hit that you get from Dunkin' Donuts and a coffee. And it can become addicting if you do it every morning before you go to work because your job sucks and you need something to get yourself through the day. It adds up. And as I, you know, take the steps to get the weight off, and my body gets more and closer to the shape it's supposed to be, it wants to be, that it performs ideally at, I realize how out of, you know, balance in terms of how much food I was eating I actually have been. And what a pleasure, what a natural pleasure it is to get the body back in balance. I think that the challenge is to rightly align myself with food and to stop thinking of food eating as an activity that's done kind of unconsciously, and to be much more purposeful about listening to my body, only giving it what it needs to preserve the progress that I've made, you know, through all of my efforts to get my body in alignment. And it also has to do with when, you know, I take the weight off, my physical structure, my posture, my, you know, skeletal structure, which supports my body, tends to be more in alignment, because any extra weight will shift one's spine, one's legs, one's supporting muscles out of alignment so that you're not able to stand up straight. So that's really just my observations this morning. I'm starting day 5 today. This is on day 4. Had a lot of good juice prepared. I think I'll do that again today. You know, just take an hour or so and just juice up and put them in my jars in the fridge, so that I know that I have them and I can just grab them, and, you know, at any time. And I had green juice left over from yesterday, so I got up this morning and did a big carrot, apple, ginger, lemon, and added that with the green juice, and so good. And that's the other thing, you know, juice is really magnificent. So that's what I want to share for day 4 on my 10-day juice fast, May 2020.